Price it right and your home sells fast. Price it too high and you will be a super sad panda. Today we're talking about home pricing strategies and why you shouldn't price your home too high with Tabitha. Hi, Tabitha. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. So what goes into pricing your home correctly?
I think I have kind of like 3 categories of things like for home pricing, right? Like first, I start with the neighborhood or the area, like some general statistics, zip code statistics, how many days on market have things been selling? What's the median price in that area? That kind of stuff, right? And then, of course, we look at sold properties nearby and like that home. We call those comps. And also, I'm looking at automated values. So I will sit here and admit to saying that I use Zillow. I usually end up writing down probably 5 to 8 different automated values from different places, including Zillow. And each one of those is just one data point for me to look at as I put the whole picture together, right? Because the next level of things that I'm looking at, so we kind of start at the neighborhood level, then we look at the home itself. And we look at its condition, we look at if it's had upgrades, where is it? Is it in a great location? That kind of thing. And we compare the house against the comps, and we kind of start to figure out, where does it sit? Is it high? Is it in the middle? Is it low? Compared to these other things that have sold. And then lastly, market trends. So the pricing strategy that I use in a buyer-friendly market is going to be very different than a pricing strategy that I was using when, we were in the COVID years, for example, the extreme sellers markets. Just depends on the market.
So then what's better, to start high or start low?
Well, facts. Homes that are priced correctly or low sell most quickly and for the most money. Just there's no two ways about it. Like the first week or two is when the seller has the most leverage for negotiations. So if you start high and you miss that first week or two and now you're still on market, now you've put yourself into a position where all you can do is start doing price reductions. And it makes you look weak in negotiations. You're losing all your leverage and you're going to end up with less money than if you would have just bit the bullet and priced it correctly or low to begin with. So starting high is just like, bleh.
Is that the technical term?
Yes. It's so tough for sellers though, it's like their biggest financial asset and they want as much money as they can get for it. And so it's counterintuitive to say you need to price it low to get more money. It's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow for sellers. The longer a home sits, the more buyers think that there's something wrong with it, even if there is nothing wrong with it. But if no other buyer wanted it yet, then why would they want it now? That's kind of the buyer mentality. So the seller just continues to lose leverage on deals. And once you start making price reductions, these buyers and some of the buyers' agents, they just smell blood in the water. And, there's no point in reducing it by like $1,000 or whatever.
So how much would you recommend when you're doing reductions?
Well, we kind of talk about that in terms of percentages. I know that there are some strategies where they'll reduce the price by like $1,000 or $5,000, but on a $600,000 home, that's not really a lot, and it doesn't really move the needle with buyers that much. So we talk about making price reductions between 2 and 5%. So on a $600,000 home, 2% is 12 grand. So that's the thing, right? Like if you start high and you have to make a price reduction, you're going to be reducing it like quite a bit. Whereas if you would have just started there to begin with, you're much better off because you still have to get through the inspection period and possibly give up more money during the inspection period. So you want to make swift and significant price reductions if it's not selling in the first couple weeks. I think median days on market for single families right now is like 16 days. So 2 weeks.
So how do you handle a seller who wants to price too high?
I had one of these recently. So what I'm doing with my sellers is I'm sort of setting expectations and educating from the first meeting. I'm trying to educate them about how overpricing is potentially going to cost them money versus make them money, right? And I also add a price reduction agreement to my listing contract. So right in the contract, when they sign it, I'm spelling out like, this is I'm spelling out in my contract how many days on market is the median for your area or your type of house. And so if we have hit that number of days on market with your house and we don't have any offers, then you are agreeing to discuss and approve a price reduction. Because there's no point in just letting it sit out there. I mean, stuff that's sitting, it's usually overpriced. I mean, you have to drop it until you find that point where a buyer is willing to buy it. That's its market value. Another thing that we can do with sellers to kind of help them understand pricing, like if they think that it's worth more than I think they should, is looking at those comps. So we can actually pull up the comps and start looking through the pictures, and I'll point things out and I'll say, is your home in better condition or worse than this one? Like, look at this kitchen. It has this new sink. It has new appliances. It has a kitchen window. It has new flooring. Now let's look at your kitchen. Your kitchen is small and dark and has old brown cabinets and no window, and it's a galley and it's tiny. And so which one of those kitchens is better? This one. So that house is worth more. And you do that kind of not picture by picture, obviously, but kitchens and bathrooms are a big, big way to differentiate between houses values.
So do you have like a go-to pricing strategy that you use?
Definitely, but also it depends on the market, right? Because the pricing strategies that we were able to use, like in an extreme seller's market, which basically the strategy was put it on the market and somebody will buy it for more than anyone thought possible, right?
True.
But now, so the market is a little bit different now. It's more buyer friendly, and everyone's getting used to that, right? Buyers and sellers. Buyers are wanting things to drop down to like 2008 crash prices, and sellers are still wanting their house to be worth, what it was in the extreme seller's market. And so there's really a discrepancy between buyers and sellers right now in this market. And so a pricing strategy that I came across and I've been using with a ton of success lately is to price the house super low. Like so low that the sellers would never accept an offer at that price. And this might be 40 or 50,000 less than what you think its market value is. But what that does is it generates traffic and it generates interest. And in our first week or two, we have a whole bunch of people coming to see it because they're out shopping and they feel like you can feel a $40,000 or $50,000 price difference, and they'll know that it's worth more than that. They'll know that it's better than anything else they've seen at the price that you put it at. So you will have some buyers who can't afford it, but what you're trying to do is create interest and create competition. The hope is that we force a multiple offer situation that brings the offer amounts up to market value. And then we go under contract and we get it sold. Because the other option is we price it where we think market value is. And then in some cases, now we're just waiting. Now we're having to do these $12,000 or $15,000 or $25,000 price drops. Nobody likes that. No seller wants to do that. So that's my favorite strategy. What do you think about that?
I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's smart.
It's sneaky.
It is.
No.
I think smart's better, but yeah.
Okay, we'll go with smart. So those are all my smart tips for pricing. Thanks so much for being with us today, Tabitha.
Yeah, I mean,
If you like this content and want to support the channel, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go.